Welcome to SuperScreen News at 12, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari has sacked his special advisor on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Beru, retired. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president also named Charles Dokubo as his replacement. In addition to his sack, Buhari directed the National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungono, to carry out a full investigation into the activities of the amnesty program from 2015 to date. The president said the investigation should focus on allegations of financial impropriety and other acts that were allegedly detrimental to the objectives of the program. Still staying with presidency, the presidency has summoned the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, for questioning over what he described as a breach of his directive. Idris, who was received by the president in a private audience, left about 30 minutes after without speaking to pressmen. You will recall President Buhari had on January 9 ordered the Inspector General of Police to move to Benue to check the reported cases of attacks on innocent citizens. However, President Buhari, who was on an official visit to Benue on Monday in continuation of his tour of troubled areas in the country, was told by Governor Samuel Otam that the Inspector General refused to obey his directive. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the National Assembly to withhold assent to the amendment of the 2010 Electoral Act. The letter was read on the floor during plenary by the Senate President Bukola Saraki. In a letter addressed to Senate President Bukola Saraki, President Buhari stated that he is declining assent to the amendment of the Electoral Act because the amendment to the sequence of the election in Section 25 of the Principal Act may infringe on the constitutionally guaranteed discretion of INEC to organize, undertake, and supervise all elections provided in Section 16, subsection A of the Constitution.
Presidential decision to decline assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018. Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision on 3rd March 2018 to decline presidential assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018 recently passed by the National Assembly. Some of my reasons for withholding assent to the bill include the following. A. The amendment to the sequence of the elections in Section 25 of the Principal Act may infringe upon the constitutionally guaranteed discretion of the Independent National Electoral Commission to organize, undertake, and supervise all elections provided in Section 15A of the 3rd Schedule to the Constitution. B. The amendment to Section 138 of the Principal Act to delete two crucial grounds upon which an election may be challenged by candidates unduly limits the rights of candidates in elections to a free and fair electoral review process. And C, the amendments to Section 152, subsection 3 to 5 of the Principal Act may raise constitutional issues over the competence of the National Assembly to legislate over local government elections. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, Senate President Bukola Saraki speaking there. And now moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari has written, beg your pardon, the Senate has lifted its embargo on confirmation of presidential nomination. This development clears the coast for nominees for the positions of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and members of the Monetary Policy, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Rafiu Ibrahim, raised a point of order during Tuesday's sitting, urging lawmakers to lift their embargo on confirmation of appointment by President Muhammadu Buhari, which, according to him, is negatively affecting the economy, a view which was unanimously approved by the lawmakers.
So I want to appeal to our colleagues. We have three requests regarding Central Bank. The board of the Central Bank, the deputy governors, two deputy governors who are also members of MPC, and MPC members who are majorly in the private sector, in various sectors of the economy that are members. MPC is a creation of the CBN Act, which is autonomous. It's not run by the board of Central Bank, but it's very, very important. Each meeting of every 2 months is important for the economy. As it is today, it is already affecting the foreign direct investment to Nigeria. Some foreign portfolio investment are already leaving. Some that are supposed to come are not coming. So we just want to appeal that we take only the aspects that affect the Monetary Policy Committee, which is the independent members and the two deputy governors that are members of MPC, so that the MPC can continue to sit to direct the affair of the financial sector, which is the heart of Nigeria's economy.
A wise man is a man who has to change his mind if he has to. So I think it is important that we reconsider our stand in respect of an earlier resolution on confirmation and be able to probably make an exception in respect of the issue of MPC. Sometimes a man, first of all, the essence of marriage, or one of the essence of marriage, is to have children. So, and that's why, because of the importance of children in marriage, when a man and his wife is quarreling, they still have children. So, I believe that it is important that we make this exception so that our economy will not collapse and the international community will continue to have confidence in our economy. So I support this motion.
For the 3 years I have stayed here with the privilege of being the deputy Senate leader, there was never a time that this Senate has failed or neglected to act in pursuance of that commitment. So in view of this, I think it's a very straightforward motion. I will only seize this opportunity to thank my distinguished colleagues for giving us that very, very rare cooperation in that line.
In his ruling, Senate President Bukola Saraki directed the Senate Committee Chairman on Banking to complete the process of screening in a bid to give the necessary support on the issue.
Confirmation process for the two deputy governors and the members of the MPC. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank the Chairman of Banking for bringing that up. Let me also particularly again acknowledge and thank my colleagues for the statesmanship role you continue to play. This has been a chamber that has always been for the issue of the economy, and for us to do all it takes to continue to ensure we see investment, ease of doing business, and give confidence, and that is what we're doing here. In as much as we continue to defend the institutions and the democracy and the constitution that we've all sworn by, it is time also we look at the priorities and understand what is important. So the Senate Committee, Chairman of Banking, please ensure that you complete that process so you can give the necessary support in this issue of MPC and the Deputy Governor so that the Central Bank continue to play its own role in the economy. I thank you.
The House of Representatives has recalled its former chairman committee on appropriation, Abdul Momini Jibrin, from suspension. You will recall that Jibrin was suspended on September 28, 2016 for 180 legislative days. Jibrin drew the ire of his fellow lawmakers when he read a speech during the plenary on July 20, 2016, alleging fraud in the budget, and afterwards revealed some documents to the media which his colleagues considered damaging. Since the House of Reps sits thrice in a week, Jibrin's suspension lasted over 17 months. Ahead of the 2019 general elections, some indigents and residents of Abonima Wharf community in Rivers State have left the All Progressives Congress APC. Their defection was made official at a gathering in Diobu, Port Harcourt, blaming their move to the People's Democratic Party PDP on failed leadership by the APC government.
Speaking to journalists in Port Harcourt, some leaders of the decamping group outlined reasons for leaving the All Progressives Congress APC and pledged to work with the PDP administration to transform the state. Members of Abonima Wharf, LHE Beach and Diobu at the Port Harcourt local government area accused the APC government of marginalizing them.
Today to denounce my membership from All Progressive Congress. I want to tell you people, I am leaving Egypt to the promised land. And I know I am in the promised land today. The Abonima Wharf community is right here in their numbers defecting. No room for APC in Abonima Wharf. The end of APC in Rivers State is here today.
Because I want to tell Rivers people the reason why we come APC. PDP no give us 10 kobo. PDP no beg us. Now we come back to our party because we don't check the two. The other one good pass, the other one. APC they sleep, they jump about with propaganda. When we can win us for the first time, that lie.
Publicity Secretary of the PDP in the state, Samuel Nwanosike, expressed gratitude to the community for showing interest in the development of the state.
For the very first time in the history of politics in Rivers State, have come together to say, Rivers people, we are here, and we are here for the good of Rivers State. We have identified a leader in Ezeboye Sowike as Abonima Wharf. Nobody will take us for a ride again.
Some PDP leaders assured the new members of equal opportunities and representation in the party and charged them to ensure full participation in the ongoing continuous voters registration to vote for candidates of their choice.
Some members of the People's Democratic Party PDP in Lagos State have not rested on their oars in calling for the removal of the sitting chairman, Moshood Salvador. These PDP members once again reiterated their call at the last senatorial district in Lagos. The Lagos State People's Democratic Party members aggrieved with the sitting chairman, Honorable Moshood Salvador. They have taken their campaign to the last senatorial district in the state. Here, they reiterated their demand, which is basically for the sitting chairman to vacate office.
Moshood Salvador has been told in many ways to leave the office as the chairman. He is no more worthy to be called the chairman of PDP in Lagos State. For so many reasons. He should refrain from addressing himself as chairman. We don't want him. Nobody wants him. And he will not be wanted as chairman any longer.
Honorable Moshood Salvador is no more our state chairman. The vote of no confidence has passed on him and have been ratified by all the leaders. He started to cause a lot of problems in the party. Number one, how can you inaugurate the executive without reconciliation? We have an agreement with the national that 65% for the ex-staff group, which he was part of it by then. But immediately he derailed, he went to 35%. So that is why when you are in 35, you can never be our chairman again. So the chairman of the party must come from the 65.
This group of PDP members also vowed to achieve their agenda as they speak on their next line of action.
That is, we are moving to the central senatorial district, and we will now end this race with a mega rally in this state that will showcase PDP, that will showcase the leadership of Lagos as the oracle of PDP in Lagos and the South.
You will recall that the chairman has cleared the air, saying they cannot remove him from office. It remains to be seen whether this group of PDP members will achieve their aim. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has announced the results of the first series of the new diet of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates in the country. The head of the Nigeria office, Isaac Adenipekun, disclosed the results at the Lagos headquarters of the council in Yaba. Adenipekun said out of the 11,307 candidates that sat for the examination between January 29 and February 12, 2018, 1,937 candidates representing 17.13% obtained credits in 5 subjects and above, including English language and mathematics. He also said the results of 1,021 candidates representing 9.03% of the total candidature for the examination are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says its operatives intercepted and seized 33 containers of tramadol, which were being conveyed to an unascertainable location in the country. NAFDAC Director General Christiana Adeyeye disclosed this in Abuja while speaking at the National Chemical Security Training Conference. Christiana said the operatives also seized 3 trucks filled with tramadol at the Apapa ports in Lagos State. The NAFDAC DG said that an emergency should be declared over the abuse of drugs by youths and children in the country. Barely 2 weeks after a tanker loaded with 33,000 liters of petrol fell at Owode Iyano Ilogbo axis along Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, another tanker also loaded with the same liters of petrol fell on the road early this morning at Singa area, Songo Ota. Reports say the tanker traveling outside Songo Ota fell at a failed section of the road and crashed a white Hyundai delivery van, which was by its side. The contents of the tanker spilled on the road and drainage channels around the area, forcing vehicles to be diverted to the opposite lane, which led to a gridlock. The tanker fell at a section directly in front of a corner filling station, though the timely arrival of security and traffic agencies to the scene saved what would have been a disaster. You're still watching SuperScreen's Midday News. We'll take a short break here, after which we'll bring you business news. So stay. Well, it's so glad to have you back. Now in business news, the Nigeria Bar Association Ikeja branch has made good its threats to protest against the Lagos State government over the Land Use Charge Law 2008. The NBA was supported by the National Conscience Party, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, and Joint Action Committee, among others. The group stormed the Lagos State Government Secretariat in Alausa, Ikeja, to protest against the new law, saying it had led to a hike in the levies charged by government on property. The protest tagged the hell tax must go started from Lagos State Magistrate Court in Ikeja, from where the protesters marched to the Government House and the Lagos State House of Assembly complex in Alausa. The protesters displayed placards, some of which read, "We are not selling houses, Lagos is not only for the rich, and land use charge increment is wicked and oppressive." The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, says the federal government is currently developing a solar energy city. Fashola, who disclosed this, did not give details on how the government is going about the initiative. However, he said the solar energy city is being developed in Jigawa State. The minister said President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier in the year stated that his government would rebuild the country's infrastructure, adding that it is the duty of surveyors to help actualize these targets. The federal government has agreed to publish details of spending and locations of projects on water and sanitation between 2010 and 2016, as well as details of allocations to the 36 states of the Federation. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, disclosed this in a letter signed and made available to the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability SERAP. On March 4, SERAP had demanded an inquiry into the high budgetary allocation to the water sector following what the group described as poor water infrastructure in the country. SERAP therefore asked Adamu to defend the huge sum spent since the country's return to democracy in 1999. If you've just joined us watching SuperScreen News at 12, we'll take another short break, after which we'll bring you news from a foreign scene and then sports to stay.